Alright, so in this video, what we're going to do, we're going to set up our lighting and we will get our project started. And this time I'm actually just going to go to a blank project where there's nothing actually in it, just so we can build upon it. Now you could go to the first person if you wanted to, that's totally fine, but I'm just going to choose blank and I'm going to hit create. Okay, so we just have this one scene here. What I'm gonna do, and you can see the reason a blank project is kind of cool is because there's really nothing there, and we can go in and we can start adding content. The only thing that's there is actually starter content, and that's totally fine. But let's go in and create us a new level where it's completely there's no sky, no nothing, and we're gonna build it from scratch. So let's go to File and let's choose a new level. And let's just choose a empty level and hit create. And this is good. There's nothing here, and this is nice and clean for us. So the first thing we want to do is let's go to our little square here, our cube, and let's go to lights. And we're going to go in and add a directional light. Now remember, this is where the sun is actually pointed. So it's the source of the sun. And in order to activate Lumen, and all Lumen actually is just real time, where if I move the sun, it's going to actually move it in real time and it's going to look pretty good. And in order to activate this, over here in the details, you can see that it's right now it's on stationary, meaning it can't move. What we need is we need it actually set to movable. And once we do that, we are good there. All right. Now we'll come back to it to move it around, but let's go in and go back to lights. And we're going to choose a skylight. And all the skylight is going to do is it's going to give you the light of the sky. That's exactly what it says. So let's click skylight. Now there is a couple of settings that we need to look at over here. So in the mobility, we do need to click on movable. And we also need to click real time capture. And that's just because all of these sky elements and these lighting elements work together. All right, so we have to make sure that we activate real-time capture so when we actually start moving the sun, it works. So, and you can see that we have this red stuff here and it's saying, hey, you need to make sure you add a sky atmosphere and a volumetric cloud component. So let's go ahead and do that. Otherwise, it'll be black. So let's go to Visual Effects and let's choose a sky atmosphere. And automatically you can see that a sky is on the horizon. And if I just click off and I hit Control L, now you can see I can move this here. So I just hit Control L and I'm able to move my sun where I want it, whether I want dusk, night, dawn, or whatever. All right, so I'll just set it right there. That looks pretty good. All right, so we need to make sure we activate one more thing. So let's click and let's make sure that we go to Visual Effects and let's make sure we add in some clouds. All right, now you can see that we have our clouds here. Now, there are settings that you can go in where you can change, the layer, the altitude, so you can see I can move this, where those, where they're actually located, the layer height, so I can change that. So you can get some cool little sky effects by coming in and playing with your settings. Don't be scared. You're not going to break anything. Don't be scared to come over here and play around because that's how learning is done. But I do want to add one more thing into my scene, and that is some fog. So I'm going to go to Visual Effects and let's click on Exponential Height Fog. And now you can see that we've added some nice fog into our scene. And it should be set this by default so that it blends with the scene itself. But this fog unscattering color, it needs to be black, which it is. And usually by default it is. And then the directional in scattering should be set to black also. But it should be that way by default anyway, so you don't actually, you won't have any problems. And again, you can come in and set the density. I can make the fog a little bit heavier, change the fall off, whatever you want to do to spruce up your scene. So go ahead and play around with these settings. Don't be scared to, you're not gonna break it. Yeah. All right, cool. So now we have our scene set up and we have our lighting and it's looking pretty good. So just remember you can hit Control L to go in and change how your atmosphere looks. But other than that, we got our lighting set up. So we'll go on to the next video.